Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for The Family Business. This is the fourth episode, so let's go on ahead and get into it. So, before I really get started on this episode, last episode I neglected to mention that London and her husband got into it because he found out that she went to her family for like a $10 million investment or loan for her to start her own business. And he feels as though she should just stick to being a woman, staying in her place to just raise kids and sit at the house and cook and clean and do all that. And my thing is this, like, not understanding why you are so comfortable as this so-called man that you are up under your wife's family to the point of where, yeah, you work for them, ain't nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, you living in the family house. You ain't even in your own house, and you got kids. You got kids, brother, all up and through that house, and why don't you have your own place? Like, you need to have your own place. That don't make no sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I understand that they have a lot of stuff going on because of the criminal enterprise and the drug stuff that they into, but other people have had their own places. Junior got his own place. He got a whole yacht that he live on. So I'm just like, why do you have this attitude? Like, I cannot stand Harris. Harris is played by Miguel Nunez. I mean, not Miguel Nunez. I always want to say Miguel Nunez. It ain't that. He's the dude who played Juana Man. It's Miguel something. I don't know why I can't think of that man's name. But yeah. Wait a minute. I got it up here. It is Miguel Nunez. I thought I was saying the wrong name. But yeah, Miguel Nunez. Old boy who played Juana Man. He played a whole lot of stuff. But anyway, y'all, I cannot stand Harris. He always want to regulate, and he ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And I'm just like, and who are you? Anyway, so on to this episode. So it starts out showing Sasha, who, if you watch Tyler Perry's Sisters, the woman who plays the attorney, she is on here. She is one of their cousins or whatever. And her and London have met up. They're meeting up because they need to see about some business. But before they tend to this business, they in the car, they're sitting and they talking. And Sasha brings up whether or not everything is okay with her and her husband, because she overheard their conversation that day when her and Consuela were talking, and she was in her feelings, and she ended up having one of those weed gummies, and that eventually led up to her brainchild, so to speak, of her having a weed business. But anyway, so she was just like, please keep this between you and I, because I don't need the whole family to find out about this. It already took a lot for her to get Harris to even agree to go to counseling. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm tired, because as you saw what happened, as far as what happened in the last episode, apparently it ain't working, because he'll have his moments where he think he about to get found out or whatever, and then he like, woe is me, let me go somewhere and sit down and act like I got some sense. But now he feel like, oh, I got everybody back under control, and they don't understand that I'm trash. So now I can get back into my position of beating this woman down and talking to her as if she is nothing. Like, I can't stand it. But anyway, so they are there, and she was just like, please promise me that you ain't gonna tell nobody about this, because I don't want to hear nothing about all this. Like, I don't want to hear my family mouth. I don't want nothing to pop off, whatever. So anyway, they get out of the truck, and there are like some goons outside or wherever they have gone. It looks like some sort of a like, I had the name of it in my mind, like a y'all, what? Not a trash place, but like a the place where people throw cars away that they ain't using no more. One of those. That's what it looked like. It looked like an abandoned shipyard or something. It looked like something like that. So anyway, they just out there. And so they over here trying to figure out what's going on. These beautiful women are approaching them. And so they asked for somebody named Lojack or something like that. And so this one dude was like, I don't know why you're looking for him. I can help you with whatever you need. And then this boy proceeded to do London's hair like this. Like twirled her hair. She looked at him like, Oh my gosh. I said, why? She said, little boy, tell me where Lojack at. Because, and so he gonna get in his feelings. He was like, little boy, ain't nothing little about me. She proceeded to grab his junk. And that voice got high. And Sasha pulled her gun out like she is very great at doing. And they had to regulate real quick because they tried to make it seem like they ain't know what was going on and you could talk to us and all this other stuff. So they found out that Lojack is on the inside of whatever building that he in that's on the premises. And that's what it is. And so London was like, and just like I thought you were a little boy. Like, you better do what I tell you to do or I'm going to turn you into a little girl. You know, I'm going to ask you some questions. So, you know, the questions were answered. And, you know, now they about to, you know, go and figure out some more stuff. So, back where Lojack is. Lojack is being played by Flex Alexander. And they're looking for him. He done rolled up, looking crazy. He is like actually like listening to some music and they trying to get his attention and he working on a vehicle. Apparently they do some illegal stuff with cars and all of that. Like they sell these nice cars with the registration and like everything. I'm talking about down to the inspection. And when she said that inspection part, I was like, somebody please slide me the number. Because every now and again, my car might be setting it off and it might be right at the time where I need to get my inspection done. Somebody pass me until I can get what I need done. But, you know, anyway. Yeah, anyway, so they talking, trying to get some information out of him. They are actually trying to find out information about Brother X, Xavier. And he trying to make it seem like he ain't know nothing about it at first. And then she was just like, you remember what happened the last time I came here? And she tried to make it seem like Junior hemmed him up and knocked half of the teeth out of his head. And so he was like, no, that was you. She was like, wait a minute, that was me. Like, I'm like, woo, child, you crazy. But anyway, Sasha's very crazy too. And she can be very trigger happy. And she's not very patient. But anyway, they were like, we need to know information right now. We need to know where he is right now. So he was like, look, I don't know, but I can tell you about his right-hand man. The only way you can really get to him is if you get to his right-hand man. His right-hand man, he is very upstanding. He's really good and all this other stuff. But he likes going to some sex club that's like into like whips, chains, and BDSM and all this other stuff or whatever. And so they're trying to get the information out of him to figure out exactly where it is. And Sasha was like, look, we ain't got to question him about all that. Because he tried to say the area that it was in, like the city. And so London was like, don't nobody know. It's too many addresses. We need to know the addresses. So Sasha was like, look, cuz I got that. I was there last weekend. It was really nice. Like, she's very much so into all that kind of stuff. So I was like, So yeah, they got that information. Y'all, Paris and Rio are having breakfast or like a little bitty like cafe moment with Niles when Orlando showed up. And so they went to go see what he wanted because even Niles saw him out the corner of his eye with eyes behind his back. And he was like, oh, well, are y'all, you know, concerned about the man who's standing behind me? And they both looking like, they were like, oh, no, that's a family friend. I'm like, why you say, I mean, I get why you say that ain't your brother, but you know, it is what it is. So they went over there to see what he wanted. And he had already said the other day that he needed to know what they was doing in Spain because neither one of them is picking up their phone to let them know why they're there and all this stuff going on in the family. So, of course, they're going to need all of the family's hands on deck. So he was like, look, we have a situation going on. I can't tell you about it right now. I'll tell you about it on the plane. There's a car outside waiting on you. You need to get out of this place now and get home. Ooh, child, y'all back at the house. Junior tired of his spirit. He done rolled up on Rob. I don't know if y'all know who Rob is, but Rob is like the family, like head of the security or whatever. Like Rob is the one. He is like he sets it all the way off. Like he really does. And Rob be coming through in the clutch. Like there have been times that I didn't think Rob was gonna be anybody significant in this show. No, Rob sets it all the way off. Like you really think he's mild-mannered and like just mellowed out? Oh, he sets it off when he needs to. But anyway, Junior rolled up on him, was like, hey man, I need to get my keys and all that stuff. so I can get up out of his house. He was like, well, you need to go and talk to your parents about that. I don't have your keys. And so he was like, look, man, I ain't got time to play with you. He done him Rob up. Y'all don't know how big Junior is. And so he is calmly telling Junior again that he does not have his keys. And so he done hemmed him up and then got so loud that his parents then rolled up and was like, Junior, what are you doing? Leave him alone. And asked Rob, was he doing all right? You know, is he okay? And so he was like, I want him to give me my keys. I know he got my keys. And so his mama was like, Junior, I got your keys. He ain't got your keys. And he had already told him that's what it was. Now, I don't know if that's true. You know how some people will tell you to say that this is what it is, and it might be a lie, and everybody's just on the same page with the lie outside of the person who don't know what's going on. But anyway, she was like, you ain't going nowhere till it's safe. And he tired of his spirit because his mama done went off on his woman. She out there by herself. Her husband is out on the loose doing the most. And so he feel like, you know, I need to go out here and get my woman to protect her. What am I going to do? And so she was like, I don't care what you say. You ain't leaving this house until I tell you you're going to leave this house. But he tired and he mad. And he, you know, his mama done stormed off and then went off on him. And so he was like, Dad, if you were in my situation, would you wait if this was Mom? And he didn't say nothing. He was like, see, that's what I thought. And I'm like, I mean, it's the truth. It is what it is. But you ain't leaving that house. I'm gonna need for you to understand. You're not leaving. So it doesn't matter what you say. Y'all, so the twins are on the plane with their brother. He giving them the lowdown, letting them know what's going on. So they tired because they like Sonya, like everybody but him like Sonya. So now they found out the information and they looking like, what? So the whole family is trying to figure out where old boy is because at this point, everybody is hunting him down. Ain't nobody got time. They just set up here and put like the state-of-the-art security situation together to the point where it's infrared and all of that. They didn't actually, like his people, y'all, I keep wanting to say Professor X, Brother Xavier, he has a right-hand man who, I don't know why, sometimes he be looking like Christian Keys to me, but it ain't him, I don't think. But anyway, he's over here talking to him and explaining to him that they had to pull security off of their house because they have so much going on that they're not going to be able to get into that and do what they want to do because Xavier wants him dead and gone now. And he was like, I don't care about what you're talking about. He was like, look, you need to understand. These are multi-millionaires. Like they have so much money and endless resources that nothing is going to be able to, you know, allow us to be able to have it like we are normally because it ain't like it is when you're in jail. You could just pay off these low, you know, paid COs. That makes sense. They have resources beyond resources and they will find ways to get stuff and all that. They have endless resources. So he's trying to get him to understand that he ain't trying to hear it. And so, you know, the little bit of information that he does have, he is not really believing it because he's like, you mean to tell me that he ain't left the house and she's still at the house by herself? And he was like, I don't care nothing about what you're talking about. You need to kill Junior Duncan right now. So the heifer that we saw last episode who was sneaking around and going through Paris's stuff has appeared on the compound of someone who we saw last season. Now, I think that he is who I like to call Alvarez's brother. And on the show, I forgot what his name was called. On this show, actually. But yeah, he got killed and it was all in an effort for his wife to take over the drug business. Well, Consuela, who is the woman who took over the drug business, is Nevada's mama, who is Vegas's baby mama, and they loved each other and the most was going on back in the day. And they couldn't be together because he black and she Mexican and all this other stuff or whatever. And the most was going on and their families were feuding. Like, it's a lot. So anyway, after everything happened last season, they decided that they were going to, you know, sit down somewhere because there was an all-out war between the Duncans and Consuela and her folks. And they settled things for the sake of Nevada. Okay, so we come to find out that this man who is living, I don't forget what his name is, y'all, but I think he is Alvarez's brother, whose legs no longer work, all because of Consuela or whatever, right? But anyway, he gave his word that he would not bring any harm to Consuela, no matter what she did, and it was all because of his agreement that he had with the Duncans. Well, this family, who is old girl who was snooping through the stuff, through Paris's stuff, and is hung up on Niles, and her brother or whoever he is to her, they rolled up out of respect for, you know, old boy who is now deceased, and, you know, other people who are very well respected, to see what's going on and why did he go back on his word. So he's trying to figure out what they're talking about. And while he's in the middle of talking to them, he finds out that his email and bank account had been hacked and his actual son had done it. And he set this whole thing up because he wants Consuela dead for what she did to him and what she did to his uncle. And he was just like, son, for you to have done this, like, I cannot respect you. You done did the most. You don't understand. And so he was like, I don't even understand why you had this agreement with Duncan. He was like, it's not for you to understand. We made this agreement. I'm a man of my word. And you must not understand that these people could have come on these premises and killed me, you, and everybody else here. And we would have been none the wiser. So he done told him to hand him a bag. And he like, what's in the bag? He said, a lesson. So we gonna get to that part eventually. I don't know. Because when he said it, I was like, shoot, is it a gun up in there? What is going on? But we gonna see. Y'all, Junior is at the house walking to, you know, where he finna, you know, his living quarters. And he on the phone. And whoever that man is, he fine. He a fine part of the security. He got the salt and pepper going on. He over here, you know, leaving messages for Sonya, trying to talk to her. And, you know, she's not answering the phone, obviously. So then he makes another phone call where he's talking to somebody who we don't know who it is yet. But he wants to know if, you know, they really meant that they would do a favor for him. And if he, you know, ever needed them, were they actually being honest about that and being there for him? And apparently they said, yeah. And so he was like, I really need a huge favor from you. So then he got off the phone. So we're going to see what all that is about very shortly. So y'all know everybody wants a piece of the pie. And the Duncans have really struggled with what they've created as far as heat is concerned. And so they had an unexpected guest to stop by. And that is the Jewish man who has at least once before asked if he could have a piece of the pie. He wants a percentage of their business. So he stopped by and he was like, you know, I heard a rumor and I didn't know if it was true or not about what's going on with your son, Junior. And I am concerned because, you know, I have investments with you all and I want to make sure that my investments are protected. And so Elsie was like, well, yeah, you don't have anything to worry about as far as that is concerned. We have all this under control. Well, he was like, we've had dealings with Mr. Xavier before, Brother Xavier, if you will. And, you know, we could have this matter, you know, nipped in the bud within 24 hours. And so Harris was like, well, I mean, he's escaped before by you just supposedly being able to capture him and put him back into prison. That don't mean nothing because he can escape again, which, you know, to me is like, okay, what's that supposed to do? And so he was like, well, I mean, you know, we can subsequently make it so that he doesn't make it back. And you know what that means, kill him. So he was like, you know, I can help you with that. So Elsie was like, Bernie, you know, I've known you for a very long time. We've been in business for a long time. I know you don't do nothing for free. So what's the price? Of course, he done rolled up on him again about having a piece of the pie. He wants like a certain percentage of heat. And he was like, I have already told you that heat belongs to the Duncans and we were going to have his location and all that by this evening. We have this under control. And so he was like, well, you know, if anything changes, just let me know. I can get my people on it. So these people, everybody has been setting it off because heat is very, very lucrative. So I mean, I don't blame him, but at the same time, LC been set it off and told everybody, I don't care how long I don't care how long I've known you, you're not getting a piece of this. This is family business, like literally. Y'all, it is going down because London and Paris have entered the sex dungeon, as I'm gonna call it. And so, Paris is very into that stuff. Like a lot of those Duncans are into a lot of that dominatrix BDSM type stuff or whatever. And so she has to tell her sister that she looks good because she's very uncomfortable in this bra that she has on and all of that. So she was like, look, follow my lead. So I'm like, wait a minute. Let me make sure that I see who I think I see. So she has two men who are twins on these chains and dressed up in the, typical stuff that you would see associated with BDSM and Dom sub type, whatever. And so they have spotted Adam, who is the right hand to Xavier or whatever. So he has this thing about he only deals with some Asian woman that's at this place. And so they trying to figure out, if they spotted the right person. And so they're like, well, I think it is him because he the only black man up in here with an Asian woman. So I think that's our best bet. So Paris was like, okay, sis, just hang back. And then, I'll call you when it's time. So she walked the twins over there. And the twins are, if I'm not mistaken, they are a part of their like security or whatever. And, they actually work for the family. If I'm not mistaken, they work for them. And she put on a little show and she was like, sit. And they like did what they did. And, they are on chains and all this other stuff. And so the Asian woman was all here for it. And so she, like a dummy, fell for the okie doke. And she was like, oh, I had this fantasy about twins and all this other stuff. And if you can, we can trade. Let's trade for the night or whatever. And she, everybody agreed to everything. And she straight up told her, she was like, well, it took almost a year for me to train Adam because he's this black Muslim, whatever, and all this other stuff. Y'all, they ended up going to their respective rooms, right? Adam think he finna get his nice little beatings. Oh, he think he about to get spanked by some women. And so they're trying to get certain information out of him. And he was like, well, you might as well get the kicking because I ain't telling you nothing. Like he is thinking he's about to get pleasure out of this situation. And so the twins, meanwhile, are in the other room with the Asian woman. And she trying to tell them to sit. And they just looked at her like, girl, who is you talking to? And politely unhooked the little chain setup they had going on. And so she gonna say, help. And they was like, girl, ain't nobody finna do nothing to you. Don't nobody want you. And we're in a sex club. Who would care anyway? So they walk off. So since Paris and London can't get anything out of old boy, they go and retrieve the twins. And they come in there and they're like, oh, so I hear you want a whooping. And so he was like, no, where are the girls at? Man, they finna beat this man down. The twins came back and delivered information to LC and Charlotte about what was going on with old boy Adam. And he was like, look, it was hard, but you know how we get down. We beat him to a pulp, basically. And they got the information they needed. Apparently, he's held up in some hotel room, like in another city or whatever, like not close by. And they said when they were on their way in, they actually drove by. And the way that they had it set up, like they planned this out to the T. They already knew how it was going to be. The way the hotel is, it's like on a hill. So you can't just walk in. Like you would have to like really, like you can't help but to be seen. So LC, peeped that and was like, okay, so we're going to have to really go in, guns blazing. And, we're going to really have to, do what we have to do. Because you cannot just walk in. Y'all, I'm shook. I gotta get my life together. So the end of the episode is upon us, and remember earlier when Senor Cruz said that he was gonna have to that there was a lesson in the bag that he asked his son to give him, right? Well, he's giving him this speech and having him wheel him from place to place while talking to him. But I'm like, okay, where they going though? And outside of that fact, y'all, I'm like, all this money y'all got, I'm not finna have no old squeaking wheelchair. I'm gonna have a motorized wheelchair, and I might have a brand new one that I can, maneuver on my own just in case something go on or whatever. But that's crazy to me. Anyway, y'all, I digress. So he over here talking to his son while his son is wheeling him all over the place. And then he rolls into some area where a man is guarding this door that has like this big lock on it that has a combination that you have to put in order to unlock it, kind of like you would do at a bank, but like older. And I'm like, what in the world up in here? So then he wheels him in, and then I see a person. And see, I'm not wearing my glasses right now. I wasn't wearing my glasses when I was watching it. So I'm looking like, who is that? I know that ain't who I think it is, y'all. I done got all up in the tablet and everything. Like, hold on. Y'all, guess who it was? I'm like, y'all don't understand. My mouth was so wide open. Guess who it was? It was Alvarez, aka Alejandro, who is Consuelo's husband, who we think is dead, who she took over the drug enterprise. Oh my God, I'm so tired. Okay, so I'm done because like when he was killed the first season, I was like, how dare y'all get this man of all people who I live for on anything that he is on, whether he is a criminal in between or somebody who is a part of the good guys, put him on here and get him killed off, and he hardly did nothing. But yeah, it seems as though he's gonna make it his mission to hunt his wife down and kill her and deliver a message. And Senor Cruz is Consuelo's brother. I kept forgetting if that was the brother-in-law, the brother, or whatever. But yeah, that's her brother. And his uncle is dead, and he in his feelings. That boy is still in his feelings, even though it's his uncle as well. And he was like, look, your wife then took over everything down to your assets. So you have nothing. So what was in that bag was like a little bitty stack of cash. And he was like, all the cartels are going to, leave you alone. We ain't got to do with whatever you got going on. And so he was like, but that's your sister. He was like, yeah, not anymore. So he basically was telling him, do what you want to do. Kill her, do whatever you're going to do. I don't care. I don't care we blood. She ain't blood no more. Look what she did to me and my family and all of this, all so that she could be this queen pin. And she's bi-coastal because one minute she's in New York and the next minute she in California or somewhere, I forgot. But anyway, she's going from New York to wherever. And I'm just like, somebody please. Y'all, Alejandro/Alvarez, he's back. He's here. And he was just held up hostage in there. And like, he's had so many enemies. When you like this big boss like that, you ain't got no choice but to have enemies and people hating and everything else. But Cruz has told him that you ain't got to worry about none of the cartels, have no issues with you. It is what it is. Now, the Duncans, I'm pretty sure, don't know that this man is alive. If they do, I'd be shocked, but I don't think they think he's alive. And pretty sure they don't, because Consuelo is Elsie's grandson's mama, and yeah. So anyway, y'all, that was the recap review on that episode. It was a lot. Anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed this. I'll see y'all later on. Bye.